Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive topic, the geopolitical reality of 2026. Now, if you're gearing up for the upcoming midterm elections, you already know that understanding our current foreign policy isn't just, some dry academic exercise. It's absolutely essential context for you as a voter. We are at a huge pivot point right now, where decades-old alliances are literally being rewritten. So we're going to break down the raw facts totally objectively, so you can see exactly what's shifting on the world stage before you head to the polls. So let's set the scene. It's early 2026, and we are staring down a brand new geopolitical landscape. With the midterms coming up fast, there's this fierce debate happening that is directly going to impact the nation's trajectory. To really grasp the stakes here, we have to look at the massive changes that took place between 2025 and 2026. The sheer speed of this shift has been wild. We're talking about a sharp pivot away from cooperative globalism straight into a highly individualized national strategy. It's a world of new economic barriers and totally redefined trade rules. Section 1. What exactly is America First? The 2025 to 2026 shift. All right, to really understand this, we need to talk about one specific word: unilateralism. America First is fundamentally a unilateral approach. Basically, that means acting solo. It's prioritizing direct, sovereign action over, say, waiting for an international committee to agree on something. And to see why this is such a big deal, you have to look at what it replaced. For decades, literally since the end of World War II, the global playbook was all about multilateralism. Big alliances like NATO, organizations like the WTO or the UN making decisions as a group. The old idea was that being economically and militarily tangled up together would stop another world war. Well, unilateralism flips that entirely on its head. It operates on the idea that those big group agreements actually just drag a nation down. Now, because this is such a massive U-turn, it has sparked some incredibly polarized reactions. We are literally looking at two completely different realities here. On the left side of the scale, you've got the critics who see this whole era as profound disruption. But then, right on the flip side, proponents are fiercely arguing that this is a much-needed, clear recalibration. And look, as voters heading into the midterms, it is absolutely crucial for us to understand both sides of this coin objectively. Both sides are looking at the exact same policies, but they are coming to completely opposite conclusions about our future. Section 2. The critics' view. Concerns over the world order. So, according to critics, this new policy is, it's basically an earthquake. They describe it as highly disruptive to established post-World War II international orders and alliances. Their big argument is that the global stability we've enjoyed for the last 80 years, that relies entirely on predictability and mutual trust within those big alliances. Critics are saying that going unilateral isn't just tweaking a few trade deals. It's actively tearing down the foundation of global politics and collective security. They're worried about things like escalating trade wars causing economic isolation or creating dangerous power vacuums around the world. To them, walking away from the global table means you lose your right to help write the rules. Section 3. The proponent's view. A clear focus on interests. Now let's pivot to the other side, because this is really interesting. Proponents do not see this as reckless at all. Actually, scratch that, they see it as the exact opposite. They call it a clear-eyed recalibration. They argue that the old multilateral system was just fundamentally broken, bloated and actively hurting the domestic economy. From their perspective, decades of globalism just gave us bad trade deficits and outsourced our jobs. So this America First strategy is designed to unapologetically put immediate national security and economic interests first. To them, acting alone isn't breaking the system, it's fixing it. It's about protecting local industries and hammering out one-on-one trade deals that actually benefit people at home. And I have to highlight this specific phrasing from the source material because it's pretty evocative. Proponents say they are prioritizing those tangible interests over what they call multilateral cloud castle abstractions. A cloud castle. Think about that metaphor. It implies something that sounds super impressive when a diplomat says it in a speech, but it has literally zero practical benefit in the real world. Proponents are basically saying that chasing global consensus is completely out of touch with modern, gritty reality. They want a foreign policy based on leverage and strength, not just relying on the abstract goodwill of international committees. Section 4. Analyses from international experts. Mapping the impact. Okay, so with such intensely opposing views flying around right before the elections, where do we actually go to find the objective facts? Well, if you really want to dig into the true impact of this 2026 foreign policy shift, our source material points us to a few heavy hitters. We're talking about reports from the Brookings Institution, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, and Al Jazeera. And what's crucial here is the kind of data they're looking at. They aren't just analyzing political spin. They're tracking the hard, tangible metrics of unilateralism. They're measuring the actual trade deficits, mapping real troop movements, and tracking every single new bilateral agreement. Keeping an eye on this kind of hard data is really the best way for any voter to cut through the noise and see what's actually happening.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question, the one we all really need to think about. Will this recalibration permanently change the world order? Whether you're on the side that sees America first as dismantling crucial alliances, or you're on the side that views it as a necessary, clear-eyed defense of national interests, there is absolutely no denying the stakes here. The choices being made right now are going to ripple outward for a very long time. So as you look toward those upcoming midterms, think about how these massive global shifts are impacting our economy and our security right here at home. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.